Good morning. My name is Diane Latiker. I am the executive director of Kids Off the Block. And in my service to young people and their families over the years, I've learned that we need more doers and not more sayers. Congresswoman Kelly has proven time and time again just that. She is that. She has supported us in our mission and the issues that we care about and really uplifted our community and continue to advocate on our behalf regarding the number one thing that affects our community, gun violence. So just to throw this little tidbit in, she's really been hands-on with issues that I personally care about, which is our youth and gun violence. Um, Who are you? Who are you? The founder? Diane Latiker. My name is Diane Latiker. I am the founder and executive director of Kids Off the Block. And personally, I am so glad to know that she's working for all of us. Now I would like to introduce you to my congresswoman. Robin Chapman.
You're supposed to talk like you. Thank you, Diane, for that kind introduction and for hosting us today. Your organization, Kids Off the Block, simply saves lives. You offer kids a safer, brighter future. Chicago needs more advocates like you and more support for organizations like Kids Off the Block. Instead, President Trump is deploying the National Guard. Despite the recent ruling by the U.S. District Judge April Perry blocking the National Guard from being active in the state, we have to remain vigilant. President Trump seems insistent on keeping the troops here, saying he's willing to invoke the Insurrection Act. The hypocrisy is unreal. Where was he on January 6th when there was an actual insurrection? Right. President Trump declared war on Chicago and called Chicago a training ground for the military, yet he's the one who has brought the violence to our city. Crime in Chicago has gone down due to our efforts. Our local police rebuilding trust with the community, our community-based violence intervention programs like my partners behind me. Murders over the summer were the lowest since 1965. Right. That is 60 years.
Yes.
Yes, we still have to improve. We are not blind to the violence in the city, but we also are not blind to the solutions. Let's be truthful about the real reason why President Trump wants to deploy the National Guard to Chicago. It's not to reduce crime, it's to instill fear and abuse his power. It's to reinforce ICE agents who are targeting people based on the color of your skin so you don't feel comfortable in your own community. Right. During a government shutdown, President Trump is abusing taxpayer dollars, wasting $1.6 million every day to keep the National Guard in a city that does not want them. I also want to add the audacity for Texas to send their National Guard is astounding. Illinois taxpayers constantly go toward red states like Texas, and now the governor dares to send his troops to our states. We're the donor state that supports so many red states. By the way, those same Texas National Guard were seen sleeping in vans outside of the Broadview ICE Facility Center. Chicago needs the funds that President Trump has clawed back. We should invest the money in real, permanent solutions to gun violence, like CVI programs, like hiring and training local police officers, like mental health resources, like federal gun safety laws.
Yes.
I fought for and passed funding for community violence intervention programs, which are evidence-based solutions to gun violence. 4 months into his second term, President Trump stole that money, and rescinded $158 million allocated to gun violence prevention. 7 CVI organizations in Chicago lost $16 million. These organizations continue their mission because they know it saved lives. Now I'd like to introduce someone who's continuing the work despite the obstacles. No obstacle stops him. Father Michael Flager with State Sabina Church. Father Mike.
Thank you, Congressman Kelly, and thank you for your consistent voice and courage
Yes.
needed in these times in which we're in America. Over the last few years, there's been a lot of people who have put in a lot of work and developed great programs to see what works and what doesn't. Organizations like Kids Off the Block, faith community, street outreach, and yes, law enforcement have done a lot of hard work to bring violence down, and we've had some success. Let me be clear. This is not Wakanda. We have a lot of work to do yet here in Chicago, and we know that, but what we're doing is working. Let me also be clear that Donald Trump, who chose to cut funding on violence prevention programs that work while spending millions of dollars on ICE and Border Patrol and National Guard and paying for threatening commercials by an incompetent Kristi Noem, he doesn't have a clue, nor does he care about safety in Chicago. He is committed to intimidation, to imposing fear, control, occupation, and he, in fact, has his people now provoking violence on our streets so he can get closer to his end game, which I believe is martial law. But Mr. Trump, you have met your match. We will not roll over and watch you militarize our city. This is Chicago. Donald Trump is a wannabe dictator with no plan. I want to challenge every citizen of Illinois. Do not become fearful or overwhelmed. Rather, talk about it every place you go and resist peacefully and nonviolently, but resist. Videotape every encounter you have. If you see ICE, Border Patrol, or National Guard, tell them to get out of our city. And by the way, release the Epstein file.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me introduce Maria Pike, a gun violence survivor and a member of Moms Demand Action.
Thank you. Picture. Good morning. I am a member of the community of survivors in the city of Chicago, and I am also on the board of Chicago Survivors, a member of Moms Demand Action, and I had to change some of my words because things move fast, and we need to keep going, and we need to keep fighting while we get this invasion at bay. The ones closest to the problem are closest to the solution. As a survivor, a mom, I believe deeply in serving community. When we call for resources and support, those calls must be answered.
Yes.
Instead of militarized responses, we need real investment in the proven solutions that save lives. What we need is for the ATF and FBI to continue their focus on gun trafficking and violence. What we need is to fund CVI programs, youth clinical services, mental health care, support for families of victims of gun violence and crime.
Right.
And for those resources which had been approved for funding, $811 million to be promptly disbursed. The mobilization of thousands of people from the community, churches, schools, gun violence prevention groups, Chicago Police Department, community-based programs is the main reason crime has gone down.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't need to be invaded. We need to be supported. We don't need you parading with military weapons downtown, throwing pepper gas, rubber bullets from the top of the Broadview Center, causing traffic hazards and bullying in our streets, kidnapping anyone brown, using helicopters to assault residential buildings with hundreds of poorly trained staff, arresting over 130 residents
Wow.
and half-naked children,
Right.
most of which are Black US citizens.
Right.
You don't need to waste our taxes on displays of bravado who don't even address our uniquely American health crisis, gun violence. As a survivor, I never imagined having military trucks, disguised SUVs, and cars running around the city displaying AR-15s and other military weapons that triggers us again and again. Grief returns and our sense of safety disappears in Hispanic enclaves and parts of the South Side and the suburbs. Your poorly trained force does not give us comfort. They are showing up in courthouses, places of work, ignoring the constitutional right of every citizen on American soil, regardless of immigration status. You are hunting children, mothers, grandparents like they are criminals and dangerous. You have caused deaths and disruptions. No National Guard from one state should be used against another. You have caused chaos and confusion. Your efforts look more and more like cleansing and retribution towards blue states.
Go ahead.
Alabama needs you. We're good. All we need is for you to fund our efforts of eliminating gun violence and its root causes. I'm not even sure that you understand that undocumented migrants are not asylum seekers and that we have and who they have paid into Social Security for decades. They have not taken a penny, and that benefit our citizens, our retirees. And they have built a huge and strong economy without handouts versus what is happening right now, which are asylum seekers who run from their countries in fear of their lives. Our immigrants, by the way, didn't come from Mars.
Hmm.
They are not aliens. They are undocumented. Thank you. Thank you. And I, I'm back. I would like to introduce.
We were supposed to have Demi Palak, an Air Force veteran. An Air Force veteran, a member of the Illinois National Guard, but she went earlier to protest in Broadview. And apparently they've set up a free speech zone. So they have reporters and protesters blocked in, and she cannot get to her car. So another tool of intimidation and restriction on free speech that they claim to love so much. Now we're available for questions.
Court rulings, the one that potentially protects protesters and journalists from some of the of ICE in Broadview, and then we've got the PRO for 2 weeks.